Alright everyone, imagine a world bursting with magic, which sounds amazing until you realize it also birthed terrifying demons hiding in their own strange layers. But hey, remember that old saying, with great danger comes great power? That same magic that spawned these monsters also gifted us with awakeners, humans with superpowers. You know the drill. Right now, the strongest awakened heroes are about to face the terrifying SSS-ranked Demon King, Belagor of the Five Elements, in a clash that feels incredibly important. These aren't just any heroes, my friend. They are the most powerful team of awakeners in the entire world. They call themselves God's Legion, which is pretty straightforward, but we'll go with it. This guy named Bai has been the boss of this crew for 10 whole years. Their job is actually quite easy. They just help the Supreme being known as God by wiping out every single layer of demons. As soon as Bai gives the go-ahead, God's Legion springs into action, and the big party begins. Reaching their 100th high-level demon lair is just another Tuesday for Bowie, the team's L-rank electric assassin, who confirms this with a simple, "Yes, Captain." She's completely ready and waiting. It's an L-rank mission, the hardest level in the game, where Han Xiaolin, the Cloud Mage, unleashes the Glacier World. Everyone is pumped for this mission because it promises a long-needed break from slaying demons, and that is the kind of motivation that gets things done. Lucian, the legendary L-rank Galaxy Conductor and resident support ace, unleashes his gravity-pulling skill, Starfall. This tiny support buff pumps his target's strength up by a full 200% and their speed by 100%, which is no small feat for a helper. And just like that, Bai crashes down to the ground, crushed by a gravity so heavy it feels like 100 times his normal weight. Boom, he crashes down so hard that the ground itself seems to shift right under him. The shockwave tears through the battlefield and completely blasts the Demon King to pieces, which is just a bit too much. And there he stands, the holy swordsman Bai rank, holding a nuclear element just like it was nothing. And with that, the demon from the SSS ranks is finally gone for good. Bowie sighs, complaining that it ended way too quickly, while Hinsha stretches out of sheer boredom, noting that these guys are just too strong for their own good. But the quiet support guy, Lucian, reminds us that this top-tier mission was always meant for the whole squad. He asked Bai if the Demon King's 5 elements and hidden skill felt like a trick, and while Bai agreed while wiping down his blade, he couldn't find where the secret actually was. Suddenly, every serious word is cut short as Bao leg steps right up to Bai. She reminds him about their vacation and asks if he's treating everyone or just the two of them, and it's smooth, very smooth. Our boy panics and pushes her away, stuttering that they'll head to their usual spot, a very typical dense guy move. Ba crosses her arms in a pout because her sneak attack failed once more, while even the little chibi Shaolin nods in agreement that he clearly doesn't understand women. But then Bai's face grew serious, and the mood suddenly changed. He glances around, puzzled, because Lucian said that guy was supposed to stay behind and clean up, so where is he? Blee just brushes it off and calls him the slowest slacker, never knowing the truth. While others watched from afar, a mysterious figure raised a hand as green energy spun around his fingers. A message suddenly appeared on the screen, announcing a purification mission. With a sharp snap of his fingers, the mystery man made it happen. He says only one word to wake it up. And just like that, black spikes burst from the ground in a split second, pinning Han Xiaolin and sending the others crashing to the floor. The team freezes in pure shock and pain as they are caught completely off guard. Just like that, Xiaolin was gone, lying in a pool of his own blood, and honestly, things got way out of hand in a blink. The man shouts that God's true mission has been revealed and the betrayal is real, while Bai tries to fight back, but his body is completely frozen and he cannot move. Then the horrifying truth comes out. They've been eating paralyzing powder in their breakfast for a whole month. The traitor then throws his god's forbidden skills into the fight, using those forbidden tendrils just like his name suggests. Huge vines wrap around his old teammates, hoisting them up as the poison takes hold, revealing that the mission was never about the demon but about permanently purifying them. And as the traitor claims this is God's will, Bale can only stammer in confusion before he is lost to the plan. Bowie lets out one final scream for help before a huge tendril smashes right into her. The vines tear through his teammates one by one, and it's absolutely brutal. All Bai can only watch in pure terror as blood sprays all over his face. His eyes burned with a helpless anger that felt like fire. A teammate falls dead right before his eyes, turning the fight into a total slaughter. The traitor stares at the terrible mess he made and sneers with a proud, smug smile. Trapped and completely helpless, Bai screams in horror. Why? Why are we being killed? God's Legion has never done anything wrong, and if this is God's order, what right do they have to take us? He is completely losing his mind. The trier just strolls up to him without a care in the world. Oh, old captain, you are just as gullible as ever. Then, he shoots a huge tendril right at his old boss. His answer was as cold as ice, making you wonder if a god who wants you dead needs any reason at all. And just like that, the tendril punches straight through Bai's chest, making him cough up blood as he begs, "What about you? Were we not comrades who have been family for over 10 years? The traitor just laughs it off, asking if you comrades and family still don't get it. From the very first day we met, God was quietly setting up this whole game of chess. And you were always just pieces on a board, moving only because someone else told you to. I've been pretending all along just to win your trust." With Bai fading away, the traitor confesses that he secretly hated playing the part for 10 long years. With the work finished, he stands all by himself in the middle of the mess he just made. The system message confirms it. It is May 22nd, 2125. Every single soul was gone, so the task to clean up the ranks was finally done. After a decade-long mission, he finally feels the sizable relief of being done, and is now ready for his own vacation. Bai's life slips away, and in his final moments, he only sees the tendrils being pulled out of his body. But in the dark, a mysterious voice called out, "Let's make a deal. The usual one you get after you die." Suddenly, Bai's eyes flew open, revealing he wasn't dead, but had somehow found himself in an entirely new place. "Huh? Where am I?" he thinks as he realizes he's tied up in some seriously heavy chains. Then a smirking man in a sharp suit steps out of the shadows to greet him like an old friend. Bai's eyes go wide because he just killed the Demon King, and you, Balug, are still alive. Balug just laughs in disbelief, wondering how a king of demons with an SS rank could be so weak, especially since this is his soul space and true form. He cuts straight to the bone, and I can feel the same burning anger rising in you and me, yeah, no kidding. He makes a deal with Bai by showing off his secret power to bring life back, all while turning into a huge, scary dragon. This power could throw him back in time to fix everything, but Balug sneers and asks if he really wants that, while Bai stares into the past as faces of his friends flash before his eyes. He remembers every happy moment when they were more than just a team, they were family. But those warm memories break apart, leaving only the terrifying nightmare of seeing them all killed by that traitor. His face twists in pure rage, and with a roar, he decides he must kill him. He swears he will kill the traitor and the proud gods who pulled the strings all along. Belsu grinned with pure satisfaction, knowing the answer was exactly what he expected, and that he had done enough to help you one last time. Then, he hands Bai a glowing, beating heart, saying it's his gift to welcome you. Bai looks suspicious, and he should be, because you're asking me to make a deal without even telling me what the price is. Bilsug just smiles, refusing to answer the question, and honestly, that isn't scary at all. Suddenly, a woman's voice screams through the darkness, warning, "Bai, do not sleep. Hey, come on up, we're waiting for you." His eyes snap open to find himself in a classroom, staring at young hands that prove he has truly returned. The plan worked, and he's back in his old uniform while I've returned to the moment before I woke up. The angry teacher slammed her desk and shouted at Bai, who looked like he was asleep in class. She shouts, "You can make mistakes any other day, but today you're standing on the edge of a career change, so get to the back and stay there right now." But then Bai freezes, staring down at his hands and realizing he's not an adult, but a junior high student all over again. Could this really be Belyagor's power? Simply unbelievable. He's been brought back to life, which means everything has changed. He scans the room, finding the familiar faces of his old classmates, people he hasn't seen in almost 20 years. Teacher Huang calls the class back to order after sending our boy to the back and says, "All right, let's continue. Everyone, pay attention." She jumps right into her lecture, showing us how the world runs on 5 basic powers: lightning, fire, cloud, core, and star. Sitting in the back, Bai learns the golden rule. No one can ever hold more than one power. With a smirk, she flexes her power and boasts, "Like me, I wield the rarest element of them all, the cloud." Then explains that mixing these 5 elements with different roles creates a vast array of professions. These heroes fall into 3 camps: fighters, helpers, and special ones. So picture a team with a sky dancer and a lightning blade killer, and you've got a squad that's simply unstoppable. She says to them, "You are already elite praise champions," and leans in with a serious look. But today is the real test, with nearly 100 jobs split into 4 tiers: Dust, Firefly, Abyss, and the God tier Skylow, and we're getting confused trying to keep track of them all. With a fierce grin, she reveals the shocking truth. Everyone gets just 1 life to wake up, and no second chances. She shouts that this exact afternoon will decide your whole future. And after class, Bai wanders the school grounds while a wave of missing home hits him. He remembers this is where everything started, the very spot where he first woke up in his past life. Suddenly, a student wearing glasses gets shoved hard to the ground right in front of him. Bai shoots a glance over his shoulder, clearly not impressed, and thinks, "Here we go again." A classic gang of bullies stands over the fallen kid, with their leader sneering, "Just a bunch of trash who need help to awaken." He stomps on the poor kid's hand and shouts, "You dare stand in my way, thinking you're special just because you're about to wake up?" A red glow bursts around him as he brags to a rare red-quality awakener like me, sneering that you'll always be nothing. Bai knows the school bully right away as he grabs money from the scared kid. He remembers that this clown was just as much a pain in his last life, proving that some things never really change. Suddenly, a sharp voice slices through the air, telling Hong Kin to stop because his teacher Hong is right there, looking absolutely furious. Her face is a mask of pure rage. "But remember, this is a school, so are you actually trying to rob him?" Hong just smirks and waves the stolen cash, laughing that we didn't see him coming and walked right into him. He asks, "Shouldn't you buy my friend some milk tea here to say sorry?" Which is just so nerve-wracking. Then he stepped right up close to her, speaking in a low, heroic tone. But she shot back that if he wasn't so handsome, he'd have been kicked out long ago. As his thugs laugh and treat him like he's lucky to be there, Hang the teacher gently pulls the poor kid back up. As Hong walks away, his eyes catch Bai's for a split second, proving that attention is a real thing. Hong sneers, shoving Bai's shoulder as he passes and asks, "What are you looking at? Move it." The bullied student apologizes, and the teacher comforts him, while Bai watches silently with a blank face. Bai always remembers her fondly, knowing that despite her sharp tongue, she had a heart of gold and truly helped him during his first life. Suddenly, another teacher calls out to Teacher Huang, telling her that her class must head to the awakening chamber, and as they walk, she warns them to keep their wits about them so they don't get hurt inside. Bai ponders the two paths in this world to awaken one's power. First, there is a natural awakening, just like what happened to Hong, a gift only for those with strong bodies and great talent. It happens all on its own when their feelings get so intense that it wakes up the power sleeping inside them. There is another option, the awakening spatial chamber, a true miracle of modern science. Inside, it forces your heart to race and your adrenaline to spike, pushing you to unlock your hidden potential. A blue glow wraps around one student, and suddenly a system window flashes up, revealing he's become a core mage. He stumbles out, both exhausted and thrilled, having unlocked a rare firefly job that Teacher Huang nods at as the 1 in a million chance that defines a life. Then the moment arrives, and it's your turn. Teacher Hang throws a stern look at him, demanding he snap to, focus, and make sure he gets it. He looks back at her with icy golden eyes, "But I know exactly what I'm doing." He remembers his past life before waking up as a worthless E-class warrior who was constantly bullied for being a loser. It wasn't until he crushed his way to S-class that he finally claimed a truly rare and powerful ability. As he steps into the swirling energy of the chamber, he can't help but wonder what strange power will awaken this time. As green energy swirls around him, he begins to sweat under the crushing weight of the pressure. Suddenly, alarms blare and a massive red warning flashes across the screen as the system screams that it has woken up to find a detection error. Bai stares in total shock as a new message flashes, revealing 5 hidden elements. He grips his chest in confusion, wondering what this sudden, burning heat inside him could possibly mean. His eyes burst with raw power as a final, world-shifting message flashes before him, and the infinite awakening system ignites with a deafening boom. The system drops a bombshell, revealing that since Bai possesses all 5 elements, he can pick any starting class he wants. And the best part? If he grinds hard enough to fill up his elemental power bar, new random classes will pop up, or he can level up his current one. Bai is totally blown away by this weird idea called element accumulation, and she has no clue what it means. But then things start to click into place. Not only does he get to choose his first class, but he can keep stacking them up later on. He can grab whatever he wants, even legendary special quality classes right on the table. But there's a catch. Only the first class is a free pick, and everything after that leaves everything to pure chance. Suddenly, the Demon King Bleesug's voice booms in a vision, offering Bai another hand as the boy realizes this insane power is a gift for his second life. Every single class in the world flows through him, and that is the power of infinite awakening. The system flashes a final warning before his element bars reset to 0, leaving him with only one chance to make this count. Outside, a few students are getting impatient and wondering why he's taking so long, but right on cue, the door slides open and Bai walks out looking totally calm. Teacher Hang rushes over with a hopeful smile, asking which class you just woke up in. Bai casts a heavy shadow over her face and whispers with a broken heart, "I'm sorry, teacher. I fear I've let you down." Then he flashed a huge, smug grin and declared himself the ultimate nuclear warrior, admitting he was still totally lost when it came to understanding this mana class system. You can see the hope fading from Teacher Hang's face as the disappointment radiates from her. But she quickly puts on a brave face to cheer him up, reminding him that many amazing heroes started out just like him and that he should never give up. She tells him she knows it feels terrible, but since waking up takes so much energy, he really needs to rest. Suddenly, a ridiculous, booming laugh tears through the air, and you can't help but think, this is absolutely insane. It's Hong Kan, and he's openly mocking the teacher, laughing that while hard work usually brings rewards, he thinks that whole idea is just a joke. Bai just stares angrily, knowing that such happy-go-lucky nonsense is no use in this harsh world. Hong grabs the teacher and says, "Hurry up, teacher. You know better than anyone that the world doesn't work that way." He leans right up to Bai's face and shouts that being nothing like dust at the very bottom is the only truth. He sneered that in this cruel world, God picks the strong to rule while the weak are left only to be crushed underfoot. But the instant he spoke the name God, a dangerous spark lit up Bai's eyes, proving he'd found his deepest fear. Teacher Hong steps in to help, but Hong just smirks, knowing the rules will send a dusty student like him to the back of the class. Her face turns cold as she demands to know the real reason. Hong just laughs, saying, "That's how society works. The weak with no power or connections always get left behind, and once you awaken, your fate is sealed because you'll just be cannon fodder, not some fairy tale where hard work changes everything." He says this new life feels like being born fresh, with your path already carved out and this school acting as a tiny rehearsal for the real world. Then he steps right up and taunts her, which you're right, he's just a freeloader stuck in his Firefly level. He turns back to Bai and says that anyone who only deals with dust and trash should go home early to stop wasting the government's money. But before even a single drop could fall, Bai's hand shot out like lightning to grab Hong's wrist and freeze him in his tracks. Hong stands frozen as the drink flies through the air, splashing all over his own face instead. He stumbles back in pure rage, and you flinch as he snaps, "What on earth do you think you're doing?" Bai calmly wipes a few drops from his cheek, looking completely bored by the whole thing. Hong's face twists into a wild grin, and now you're doomed. He lunges forward, his fist crackling with purple energy as he screams that Bai is asking for a beating. He strikes with his Star Assassin move, a deadly thrust called Star's Thorn. But Bai's eyes narrow as a flash of golden light conjures a sword from thin air. With a loud clang, he easily stops the punch. Hong's crazy grin instantly froze on his face, giving way to total shock. Before he can even blink, Bai's counterblast sends him flying backward. He skids across the pavement like a skipping stone, carving a deep trench in the ground. After slamming to a stop, Hong tumbles across the ground while everyone watches in total shock. He spits out a mouthful of blood. His face looked like a mask of pain and total confusion. He gasped as he looked up at Bai, who stood there calmly holding his brand new golden sword. Everyone stood speechless, wondering how a nobody could pull off such a crazy trick. Bai casually rested his sword on his shoulder, having chosen the Nuclear Warrior class himself for its basic light sword and the solid boost of 20 attack and 20 evasion. With a smug grin, he says he finally figured it out, but Hong gets up, furious, knowing he only survived by luck and dodging. He screams that he is a rare abyss-level being on a completely different plane from the low-class trash like Bai. Teacher Huang watches with wide eyes, realizing it wasn't luck at all. She knows exactly what move he just made, a secret combat trick only the highest-level fighters can use. It was a flawless move, a legendary trick that stops all harm and sends it bouncing back at the attacker before they even realize what hit them. She recalled that even her own master, after 10 years of non-stop brutal training, still couldn't master that move. So, how could a kid who just woke up today with no fighting skills possibly succeed on his very first try? But Hong doesn't care, for he pulls out a dagger, his eyes burning with rage as he demands, "Are you ready to die?" He vows to force that piece of trash to kneel and beg for mercy right in front of everyone at school. Bai just watches him, thinking to himself, "Of course I had my reasons for picking this supposedly weakest class. Knowing that judging someone's entire future the moment they wake up is a huge mistake that this world will pay for years to come." Then the system explains exactly what a perfect block is, using perfect timing to cancel every single hit and sometimes bounce the damage right back at the attacker. The crowd is buzzing with excitement, wondering if they'll finally see a fight break out right here, but using powers in front of the whole school is strictly forbidden. Everyone knows the deal. Hong Qin-shang is a wealthy kid with all the right connections, while Bai is just a nobody from a poor family. Even if Bai throws a punch, he's in for a guaranteed expulsion. Teacher Huang leaps into action to play the peacemaker, telling them that since they just woke up, they might become teammates someday. But Hong won't take no for an answer, so he shoves his teacher's hand away in a furious rage at her daring to stop him. He says it's too late for apologies and is ready to show this peasant the huge difference between their power. Teacher Huang sees that the real issue isn't just attitude, but the huge gap between their class quality and stats. Sabai's class is in dust mode quality, which means he gets no extra stats at all. While a normal class just gets a 150% boost, Hong's Abyss peak quality makes his bonus a ridiculous 200%. That means his numbers are twice what they should be, and such a huge startup advantage is supposed to be impossible to beat. One of the onlookers just shakes his head because it was already over before it began, leaving Bai outmatched in power, status, and everything else. He thinks, why start a fight you can't win? Sure, guys like Hong are jerks, but that's just life, so to survive, you either dodge the bullies or take the slap and keep moving. Fighting back is the stupidest thing you can do because it just makes him beat you up even harder, and that's exactly what he expects. And now Hong unleashes his brutality skill, pumping his strength, sharpening his critical hits, and even letting him steal life from his foes. Teacher Hong yells at Bai to watch out and lunges forward in a total panic. She knows he can't stop this because Hong's power and speed have become something completely different. Hong screams, let's see you dodge this one. Thinking he's already won, but Bai just smirks and makes an impossible dodge. He asks why he should dodge, then his own sharpness and speed suddenly explode, pushing him forward faster than ever before. And the best part is, when haste hits 100%, you unlock a powerful new move called Flash Step. Hong slashes through nothing as he freezes, baffled by Bai's sudden disappearance. Suddenly, Bai appears right behind him, calm and steady despite the speed of his arrival. Hong coughs up a mouthful of blood. He crashes to the floor in defeat as Bai drops the ultimate line. Trash belongs in the trash can. The crowd stood frozen in shock, unable to believe what they just saw, with many whispering that Hong simply tripped and fell on his face. Even the teacher couldn't follow where Hong went. One moment they were fighting, and the next he was already on the ground. But one student, a girl with pink hair, stares wide-eyed, knowing she just saw something impossible. She keeps replaying it in her head, realizing that Bai's haste triggered the advanced flash step. But how did he land a hit in that split second? She realizes he took down a superior opponent with a single effortless blow. Class monitor Chi truly understood the move, executing it with a master's flawless precision. While the rest of the students just stand there confused and laughing at Hong for getting knocked out, they can't believe it since Bai looked like he didn't even move. Meanwhile, Bai glances at his notifications, proud that he followed the rules while gaining strength and special points from the battle. But 50 points was way too slow for his plans. But wait! Hong scrambles back up, screaming, "Don't you dare walk away from me!" He snatches his dagger and lunges with a roar, "I'll kill you!" Then suddenly, a booming voice cuts through the noise. That's enough, and Hong freezes in mid-attack. A man in a suit and an eye patch steps out, looking unhappy, and asks his nephew if he has embarrassed himself enough. While the nephew stammers and Bai instantly recognizes him. The director sends everyone home to tell their families about the new classes. His eyes lock onto Bai and Yu, and his voice drips with danger as he speaks. The director looms over Bai, warning him that fighting breaks the rules. But Bai's thoughts wander, and a memory slams into him like a truck, pulling him back 20 years and signaling that today means something different. He freezes in panic, wondering how he could forget this, only to realize he has just remembered the single most important thing about today. Without thinking twice, Bai shoves the director out of the way and sprints away, not even hearing his shouts. The director snaps at Teacher Huang to fix her student, but he lets her off this time. Teacher Hang has no choice but to bow her head and apologize for her student's crazy behavior. Later in the director's office, Hong is still furious, making excuses for his terrible loss. Nonsense, his uncle shouts as he slams the desk. Do you have any idea what that kid just did to you? He says that right when Hong launched his attack, Bai instantly vanished and reappeared in a new spot using his secret flash step move. But here's the crazy part. In that same split second, he spotted Hong's weakest spot and struck it with perfect accuracy, knocking him out instantly. The director admits that even a 15-year war veteran couldn't pull off that perfect trick, no matter how well he practiced the basics. He says it felt like watching a pro gamer crush a beginner with just the basic moves because this kid isn't simple at all. Meanwhile, Bai races through the city streets, driven by the thought that revenge is important. But this single task is absolutely essential, before he skids to a halt in front of a crumbling apartment building, completely out of breath. Suddenly, a terrible memory flashes before his eyes, showing a dark figure looming over his beaten and bloody younger self. He brushes it aside, his face set in stone, and swears, "Even if it takes my life, I'm stopping what's about to happen here." All in the year 215. In a small apartment, a man laughed himself silly watching TV. While chaos raged outside, a silver-haired woman kept her cool in the kitchen, washing dishes as if the loud noise never existed. And right on cue, our boy Bai steps through the door, finally home. His dad gives it a quick look but shows no real interest. You're back earlier than expected, aren't you? But Bai doesn't look at him. His eyes are fixed on his mother through the kitchen window. His eyes go wide with tears as he whispers, "Mom." And her face lights up with a warm smile because she is so glad to see you alive and well. She wipes her hands fast and tells him she's already cooked his favorite meal, hot and sour noodles. But look at Bai's face. His expression turns hard, and he has something else in mind. He forces a smile and asks for pickled fish, but his mom says the noodles are ready and suggests they save the fish for tomorrow. But he won't accept a refusal, so with a spark in his eyes, he insists, "No, I want it today. Let's go. Right now." She lets out a long sigh and gives in to her son's strange urgency, grinning and calling him impossible. Just as she starts to head out, Bai jumps in and offers to walk with her. Just as things got tense, the dad's voice echoed from the living room, telling your mom she could head out on her own. He glares at Bai, asking what's wrong with him for not saying hello to his own dad. He finally stands up and reveals what he really cares about. Isn't today the day everything wakes up? So go on and share the good news? Bing, a level 26 electric warrior, is already pulling beers to celebrate his big win. Bai lied right to his face, but I missed it because I didn't wake up today. He stuck to his story, claiming the whole thing dragged on too long and he never got a real chance to act. You can see the dad's face fall instantly as he snaps, "Why are you home so early?" He begins to smear his reputation, calling him useless and comparing him to a neighbor's kid who just discovered a trash-tearing power. He puffs out his chest and boasts that his son is worthy of a deep mountain rank, claiming he achieved it with nothing, before stepping forward to start a long speech about all he sacrificed for Bai. He leans right into his son's face and demands, "Tell me, what is your class?" The air freezes, and you can see Bai struggling to keep it together. Bai opens his mouth to say, "I haven't." But his dad roars in anger and smashes a beer bottle right over his head before he can finish. After spitting out the truth while covered in beer foam, Bai reveals that he is a dust tier. The dad snaps when he sees you wake up a useless dust tier class and asks if you're trying to humiliate him. But look at Bai. He stands calm and cold as ice, wrestling with a terrifying thought that this man is his father, an awakener, and a violent monster who can't control his temper, until suddenly a forgotten memory from his past life flashes back to him, reminding him exactly what happened on this day. The last time this happened, his father discovered he belonged to the dust tier and brutally beat him for bringing shame to the family. Just as always, his mom stepped in front of him to shield him from harm. Back then, he was just a scared little kid who could only stand there and watch in horror. His father battered his mother for a full hour, pouring all his terrible anger onto her. That day, she was left with a broken leg and a head wound so terrible that it changed her life forever. All he could do was weep, soaked in his own mother's blood. Bai suddenly came back to reality, lying on the floor soaking in spilled beer. He knows his skills are laughably weak right now, barely scratching the surface of what a level 1 tier nuclear warrior can do. His dad towers over him, screaming for him to get up. His dad is a C tier with a huge 400% stat boost, making the difference between them absolutely ridiculous. Unlike the punk we knew in school, this guy has real fight experience. Bai has to admit it to himself. I was wrong, and right now I can't beat him. As his father screams that he should never have been born, Bai knows this beating won't stop. That's why he had to get his mom out of the house, no matter how much it hurt his wallet. He braces for the punch, thinking, at least I got mom to safety. But then he hears it, the thud of grocery bags hitting the floor. His head snaps up, his face twisted into pure horror. His mother stood frozen in the doorway, staring at the scene in pure shock. He sees the noodles in the drop bag and suddenly understands why she rushed back. She rushed back because she couldn't let her son go hungry, not even for a moment. She can hardly speak, stuttering in shock at what she sees. Her husband spins around, his body crackling with a furious red aura, and he snarls at the useless trash she gave birth to. It all starts deep inside a gloomy prison cell, where a single guy in an orange jumpsuit is being grilled by a slightly older prisoner. The older prisoner can't believe his eyes because this green-level guy just did something nobody under a blue rank should ever be able to do. But wait, this inmate didn't just climb the ladder. He jumped straight from the lowly green tier to the legendary platinum gold. The older inmate finally asks why a legend like Bai, who should be free, is locked away in a prison for the dead, and Bai just looks down and says chillingly that he deserved to die. Suddenly, his eyes flare with rage as a painful memory rushes back to him. His voice shakes with pure fury as he thinks back to the day his father beat his own mother to death. Alright, we jump back to our present day, where young Bai is covered in noodle soup and glaring at his abusive father. Out of nowhere, the monster of a dad turns his anger on his own wife. He throws a wild punch that sends her flying across the room like a ragdoll. Bai knows this is trouble because his father, an awakener, is leagues stronger than a normal person. Lying on the floor and bleeding from his mouth, he realizes that an ordinary person would have been killed instantly by a blow like that. His mother lets out a terrified scream and dashes to his side, doing whatever she can to help him. She can only stare in pure terror as blood pours from her son's face. And the father, Bing Shang, just smirks, saying with a grin that this is truly awful. He then dives into a twisted story, gushing about how thrilled he was when he discovered she was carrying his son. He viewed it as his single shot to finally flip his luck within the B family. He taunts the other kids, bragging that only he is smart enough to have a son who will keep the family name alive. He shouted that his whole family's honor depended on him. But then his face turns grim, and suddenly he lets out a terrified scream. His rage boils over like a volcano, screaming that his son is weak because of his wife's trash family, and calling him a useless good-for-nothing. He lifts his fist, pointing it straight at his wife, who is shaking with fear. Just as a flash of green light appeared, Bai used his flash step skill to move instantly. He steps in right between his parents, all ready to catch what's coming. He stands firm, blocking his father's punch with a golden sword that just appeared out of nowhere, making everyone wonder where it came from. With blood on his face but standing tall, he gives a freezing warning, "Don't touch her." His father froze for a moment before a twisted grin spread across his face, and he thought, interesting. He snaps his neck and sneers. We really did grow up, and it turned out very well. Bai knows he can't win this fight. Right now, he's doing everything he can just to buy himself a little more time. He holds his breath and readies himself to face the next strike straight on. As the system triggers his parry to bounce the attack back, his father's sheer power shatters his defense instantly with a roar. The punch hits and blows him apart, showing just how wildly different their strength is. His dad, a level 26 warrior with a massive bonus, hit so hard it shattered every rib in Bai's body. Disobeying your respected father, Bailing roars and unleashes a heavy black thunder skill that sends nasty electric shocks through his attacks. With his mother staring in pure terror, the monster gets ready to strike one more time. With a crazy grin, he mocks his son, bragging that he's so strong he won't even try to dodge. He laughs at your spine and says a weak group like yours only deserves to be beaten senseless. Despite the pain, Bai's determination only grows stronger, vowing that no tragedy will ever happen again. This only makes his father angrier and he snatches up a metal chair. Don't think you're special just because you woke up, because I'm going to show you who your daddy really is. Just as he is about to smash it down, a loud and urgent knocking rings out from the front door. Bing Shang freezes in pure anger, cursing himself. Bei knows exactly who's here to ruin the fun, and they have arrived. He rushes to the door, shouting, "Who is it?" He flings the door open to find two men from the inspection team standing there. Deputy Captain Ling, a strong A ranker, and Inspector Chenzhen Wu, a C rank. Bing's face turns white as he stammers. "Deputy Captain, why are you here?" Liang says they are looking into a report about a very dangerous fugitive named Snow who was seen nearby. Bing Shang quickly puts on a fake smile and laughs while promising to report anything suspicious he spots. But Liang's eyes aren't on him. They lock onto the injured Bei Yi in the background, and pointing, he asks, "What happened to your boy?" Thinking fast, Bing Shang spins a terrible lie, claiming his son is just clumsy and fell down while buying groceries. From behind his father, Bai's eyes narrow as he shouts, "No, he hit me," and you can see it on his father's face, his expression darkening before he warns, "Oh, you're so dead now, buddy. And wouldn't you look at that? Because the entire fight was just part of Bai's clever plan all along." We jump back 18 minutes to the moment he was already talking to the authorities. He called in a fake tip about seeing the fugitive Snow just to get the cops over here, and even though he didn't think they'd show up this fast, it worked perfectly. Back in the present, the dad of the year tries to act cool by telling the inspector it's just a joke, claiming who would ever hit their own son, except him. But Bai won't take it lying down, instead rattling off his injuries like a grocery list. A stool on the arm, a bottle to the head, a punch here, and a kick there. He looks the inspector right in the eye and claims his injuries can be checked right now, then spits out a law about locking up dangerous people for 15 days, leaving the stunned officers thinking he studied hard while his dad looks like he's about to explode with rage. Inspector Lang steps forward, all business, and declares, "I am now lawfully arresting you," delivering a swift blow of justice. And the dad just snaps, screaming and thrashing like a wild animal while being held back. As they drag him away, he screams the classic villain line, "Bai, you just wait." And the door slams shut, leaving Bei all alone with his poor, terrified mom in the sudden silence. He turns to her, his face softening for the first time as he simply whispers mom, causing her to rush over and hug him tightly while crying, and he holds her close, murmuring that it's okay now, thinking he finally protected her. Even though he knows he has only bought himself 15 days until his dad gets out. He tells her this will be the final time it happens, giving himself just 15 days to start his transformation into power. He tightens his bloody fist, knowing this fight was just a trick to steal the key to his dad's safe, proving once again that he's a sneaky little guy. This isn't just any key. It opens the door to the very secret that helped his father rise from a nobody to a hero, even though it cost him his friends. He walks straight into his dad's room and opens a secret safe, holding a clue he only learned after his father died in a past life. Inside lies a blade so sharp, he thinks it might finally let him storm a demon's lair all by himself. But there's a twist. The only way to get stronger is to enter demon dens that are all owned by God and the biggest guilds. He's got two paths ahead. The dull school dungeons or the hidden secret place he remembers from his past life, and you can guess which one he'll choose. He steps into a broken-down old building, where the door opens to the secret hideout hidden inside. The numbers are all hidden, which could mean disaster, but our hero is determined to go all out for that powerful boost. While the real work gets done, the cops in the inspector's office are just chatting about that fake tip. They know they can't relax while a dangerous fugitive named Snow is running free. As one inspector, Chen Wu, tries to stir up some office gossip, Lang quickly shuts him down. Suddenly, the family's hero starts begging, and when that fails, he tries to bribe the inspector with a promise of a safe future for his pregnant wife. Classy Lang looks absolutely disgusted and asks the guy how he went from being a proud guild member to such a sad mess. As they walk away, Shenzhen Wu cheerfully warns him that trying to bribe a cop is a big no-no, sending him straight to the awakened prison on a one-way ticket. Left all alone, the father glows with pure hatred and hisses his son's name, letting everyone know this isn't over. Bai knows time is running out, with just 15 days left, so the demon den is his only chance to get strong enough for what's coming. So listen up. Demon dens are like doorways that lead to other worlds. As soon as they are discovered, guilds rush to grab them for the treasure hidden within. They are the perfect place to gain experience, but they are incredibly dangerous, so you must always enter with a whole group of friends. But this one is special because nobody found it in his past life for 5 years, and by then, it was so overgrown that it invited a demon invasion. He's staking his life on the fact that this low-level Frank dungeon is the absolute limit he can take right now. But there's still a small chance he's completely mistaken. He steps up to the pulsating, fleshy gateway that looks gross, but this is it. He knows the rules say to bring a balanced team, but our boy has no choice and is going in alone. He has to pump up his strength right now, and there's no time to wait. He takes a deep breath and then jumps straight in. A system window popped up displaying his stats. Level 1, E rank. My friend, his numbers are absolutely pathetic. He crashes into a massive ice cave, where the biting cold warns him that ice monsters are waiting. He spots human bones scattered all over, a sight that never brings good news. Then he spots a giant sleeping ice bear, a beast of the lowest rank. Just like that, the bear jumps awake and charges, taking that slim 10% chance to turn an easy E-rank den into a fight. Just when one giant bear seemed too much, a bloodthirsty wolf jumped out from the side to attack him too. Another E-rank monster, leaving him completely overpowered. The wolf lunges for the kill, its fangs bared and ready to turn our boy into a chew toy. But Bai is shockingly fast. He leaps over the attack, his brand new blade held ready. He dodges like a champion, slipping right by those big teeth. That was way too close. Then a flash of gold. A single clean swipe brings the beast crashing down, and a huge sigh of relief escapes me. He owes it all to his new A-rank Kunwu blade, a game-changing toy that has made him incredibly powerful. Even with a mighty sword that could cut through anything, these monsters still fight back hard enough to make him sigh and remember how much easier battles used to be when he was a legendary warrior in his past life. He earns a bit of experience and 50 elemental points for the kill, but climbing levels is going to be a long, painful struggle. Suddenly, barking sounds echo through the cave, and Bai snaps into a guard stance right away. Oh, fantastic! The wolf he just killed has brought its whole family, led by a bloodthirsty wolf king. The scent of that first kill's blood rang out like a dinner bell, instantly summoning the whole pack to the feast. He's completely boxed in, turning what he thought would be a daring solo escape into a desperate fight for survival. So Bai finds himself surrounded by a whole pack of wolves. Yet he doesn't panic at all. He instantly strikes a lucky blow against the first clumsy dog that jumps at him. He slips past the next two bites as if he's dancing in the Matrix, weaving through their snapping jaws. And just like that, he spins around to land a quick strike on another wolf, showing off his awesome skill. My guy moves like a blur, spamming his dodge and counter combo for some peak sword play right here, folks. With a cold fire burning in his blood, he steps up to end this final round. He jumps into the air and spins like a golden Beyblade, creating a whirlwind of light that destroys the entire pack. As each wolf falls, you hear that satisfying sound of your system flooding you with experience points. He pulls the plane out just before it crashes, saves the day against the common enemies, and now rushes to grab all that shiny treasure. But don't think the party is over, because the D-rank Wolf King is still standing there, looking absolutely furious. The king lets out a mighty roar, but Bai is already on him with his blade blurring like gold, and he isn't even impressed. And just like that, the pack leader falls, and he's even rewarded with a rare wolf diamond for his effort. He thinks, with this much progress, I'll reach max level soon. And just as he says it, the system dings to announce his level up, giving him 12 fresh stat points to spend. Phew, he finally catches his breath, realizing that wiping out 20 wolves left him completely winded and that his E-rank body is seriously underpowered. He's also running into that old game problem where there's just not enough room in his bags. So he'll either need a magical backpack or start leaving shiny treasures behind. He gazes at the Snow Wolf Diamond, lost in thought about how guilds hoard the best farming spots and make it nearly impossible for solo players to survive. For most, the only true way to succeed is to join a guild right after finishing school, which is how everyone else does it. This story hits close to home for him, bringing back memories of his own father who got kicked out of his guild and was forced to stay in Kank for life. But grinding alone is way too slow, and this freezing cave is draining his stamina bar fast, so he's got to get creative. Then he spots another pack of wolves, and you can practically see the light bulb pop over his head with a brilliant new idea. So, he bolts on purpose, dragging the whole group chasing him through the forest in a classic trick called kiting. See, he doesn't want to fight them one-on-one. Oh no, he's doing all this crazy stuff just to grab everyone's attention. The noise pulls out a huge cloud python, and now things are about to get really interesting. The wolves instantly turn on their new enemy, proving that his brilliant 50-step plan is finally coming together exactly as he hoped. He finally stops spinning around to stare at the complete disaster he just made, and look at that proud little smirk on his face. My friend has pulled together a terrifying army of monsters, with wolves, pythons, and dragons all gathered in one spot. Just as he expected, a huge boom shook the air from far away, and the real target had finally woken up. The earth shudders and splits open as a massive tundra bear bursts from the ice. And I just say, well, hello there. And right now, it's in a furious rage, which means in fighter slang, it's going to attack anything that moves, including all those monsters. The bear instantly starts a wild rampage, smashing every monster Ye had kindly gathered for it. With the bear stirring up trouble, our boy just needs to stay back, dodge the chaos, and quietly take out the few left behind, playing it smart instead of risky. He slips through the fight, snatching kills from the tired foes to fill his pockets with treasure and experience points. Ding! He levels up again to 4, and this bear is basically powering him up for free. What a total Chad. To win the real prize, a huge XP jackpot, he must land the final blow on the bear himself. Even though the bear did most of the fighting, this huge battle left him totally drained, so much so that his stamina must have dropped below 0. But don't think we're safe yet, friends, because now he's ready to launch the second part of his wildly crazy scheme. The last of the monsters, including the giant one, are stepping forward as the den shakes with every crack and crash. And just then, a dark grin spreads across his face as surprise hits him while cracks suddenly appear in the ice beneath his foes. He drives his sword into the ice and shouts, "Then go down." Right before his ace up his sleeve is revealed, the ground isn't a frozen lake, but a thin ice bridge spanning 2 giant canyons. As the whole horde of monsters plunges into the abyss, kill notifications roll in non-stop, making the scene look absolutely beautiful. With a loud boom, he shot straight up to level 7, caught in a downpour of treasure, proving that grinding this way is seriously efficient. With most of the mobs vanquished, only a handful of survivors remain. Among them our towering, furious furry companion. He's running on empty, but he thinks it'll be just enough to see him through the finish line. This has to be the fastest way to level up, right? His genius plan even earns him the title 1 against 100, which boosts all his stats. As he surveys the silent, empty den, a sudden idea strikes him. Every den hides a final boss. He braced himself for a wild, lion-filled disaster, but after all that mess, nothing appeared. Why hasn't the big bad finally shown up yet? As the last monsters charge, the air around him begins to buzz with energy. Bai just stares in shock, realizing he has made a terrible, terrible mistake. He gets caught right in the blast as a wave of freezing energy swallows him whole. Turns out the final boss wasn't knocked out or sleeping after all. It hung in the air, biding its time until the perfect moment to strike. It waited until Bai's guard dropped to strike him at his weakest moment. That tactical genius boss just checkmated our main character. Suddenly, a wall of ice bursts from the ground and freezes our boy solid in an instant. He finally gets it. The icy bridge wasn't just a path to cross, but a deadly trap laid by the boss, waiting for him to run on empty before striking. He can't believe that a smart boss monster is hiding in a low-level cave, which is totally unheard of. Just when you think you've got the leader figured out, the real boss emerges from the shadows. A level 11D ranked cave lord stands guarded by two huge demonic apes. Still half buried in ice, Bai slowly turns to find his real enemy staring back at him with wide eyes. The cave lord flashes a wicked grin at him. Bai is stuck in place, his body turned to ice. And just as he thought he was safe, the system popped up to rub salt in his wound, revealing a hidden demon cave with high danger and a recommendation of 8 players, leaving him utterly alone. Alright, so our boy Bai is in big trouble, cornered deep inside a demon's lair by a new cave lord and his ape gang. And by pickle, I mean he's literally a human popsicle, frozen solid with his body heat disappearing faster than meme coins during a crash. The cave lord, who looks like a true villain, stretches out his clawed hand to poke the bicycle and check if it's finished. No, wait, he was actually ordering a minion to attack, and the monster leaps forward, ready to smash our frozen hero into a million pieces. Bai realizes he has no choice but to swing for the fences, and then boom, he hits it. Now the cave lord looks shaken, staring at Bai like, "You're supposed to be dead," because Bai used his special block to catch the hit right back at him. Knowing it was his only way out, Bai gave everything he had left to make that single, desperate move to break free. He's risking everything on the idea that the monster needs a break after such a fancy attack. So the plan is to knock out the boss before he can recharge, which sounds simple enough, doesn't it? But the cave lord just sneers. With a second wave of his hand, he sends Tundra Bear to attack next. Watching Bai dominate the monster brawl, he knows the party isn't over and keeps stealing the show. He stares down the B-rank Tundra Bear with the brave face of a guy who knows he's about to get crushed, shouting, "Come and kill me," while his energy is long gone and he's already dreading the fight with the other 2 apes. It wasn't just them. He was completely surrounded. With a weak cave lord, a small bear, and a horde of apes and wolves charging us, things are looking terrible. With such impossible odds, his chance of winning is basically 0. The ape slams its massive club down, and the sheer power pushes Bai backward, leaving him barely hanging on for dear life. Then another ape jumps in to beat him up, leaving Bai on one knee, totally wiped out and unable to even stand up. The Tundra Bear seizes its moment and lunges forward for the final strike, sealing the fate of our hero. He clenches his jaw as the bear swats him away like a buzzing fly. Our MC lands on his feet, but that icy stage acts like a massive drain, robbing him of energy with every freezing step. The real trouble is the cave lord lounging in the back, laughing maniacally as green power swirls around him, and you know that's never a good sign. And just like that, he casts another wild spell, unleashing a freezing ice storm right on top of them. Bai is stunned and screaming inside because his skill cools down so quickly, proving he was right and you were wrong to bet against him. Then we jump back to the past, where he learns that even when everything seems lost, he can find a way out. So he figures it out. If he stays to fight with no energy left, he's already dead. Using his sharp detective skills, he figured out the answer and picked the second choice. His second choice is to run, so he uses his flash step to zoom past and literally yeet himself off the cliff's edge. Just as the Ice Lord gets too close, he breaks free and dives straight down into the dark. The monsters just stand frozen at the edge, staring in total shock as their meal slips away into the dark. They were just a breath away from it, but it slipped right through their fingers. At the same time, the scene shifts to his house, where his mom opens his bedroom door, ready to wake him up. But when she peeks inside, her face falls flat in pure shock. The bed was empty, leaving only a folded note behind, just like a kid who ran away. She can't make sense of it. Why would someone leave a dramatic note just to visit a friend when something feels so wrong? She knows something is wrong because ever since he came back yesterday, he has acted like a totally different person, and her alarms are going off. Alright, let's zoom back to the icy pit where we see the mess after Bai's big escape. And just so you know, when the bridge broke earlier, Bai spotted that about 100 monsters had jumped right in. But when the level up notifications finally arrived, he noticed he only gained 3 levels, realized that not every monster had fallen, and quickly calculated that about 40 must still be alive after the ice bridge collapsed. He's fighting his way out of the icy water, looking like either a tough cockroach or someone who just happens to be super smart. Suddenly, we flash back to his crazy brain game where he desperately theorized that a river must be hiding at the bottom of the cliff. Thinking fast, he breaks away and plunges into the water. It was a last-ditch gamble that somehow just paid off. But that risky trick cost him everything. leaving him dragging himself onto the shore and collapsing, completely drained as the warning signs on his system flash red. Bei is freezing, bleeding out, and barely able to move after a terrible fall that has left him wondering if he has finally reached his limit. Just when things can't get worse, a giant crystal wolf with a fierce appetite bursts onto the scene. As he starts to drift away, you know what that means, folks. It's time for the classic moment when we flash back to see how they died. First, a memory of his friend Lucian guilt-tripping him by offering a drink and complaining that he never shows up anymore. Then he spots Bale's smiling face begging for a hug, and it's just so sweet. Next comes a young Hanzalan whispering about sneaking out for fancy food, proving these guys clearly had their priorities straight. Another old friend pops up, asking for help with his data, proving that even on his last breath he can't forget work. Finally, he sees his worried mother asking about the painful wound on his head, but the sweet memories are broken by a sudden flash of his enemies, starting with the scary cave lord. Then his own father's mean face shows up, literally telling him to go to hell. The video of his old traitors flies by, each one showing the same warm smile. All the pain from his failures crashes into him all at once. That crushing sense of being totally wiped out. But this isn't his first rodeo. He tells himself there are no limits and this time he simply won't fail. He refuses to let his past mistakes control him once more, so he stands tall and looks the beast right in the eye. With eyes blazing gold like a hero's, he promises never to let those tragedies happen again. He shouts that he has already lost and died once, pouring every bit of his main character rage and pain into the scream. And with that, he launches a fierce counterattack because he is not going to die here. His sword strikes home and suddenly the monster bursts apart into a wild spray of ice and blood. The blast throws him across the ice, yet he hits the ground like a hero, sticking his sword deep into the frozen surface. He inhales deeply, and a golden light suddenly swirls wildly around him. Turns out this was the brilliant plan he had from the start. Only a brush with death can push someone to the next level. He planned to push himself to the limit by soloing a demon cave, luring monsters out, and leaping off cliffs. And he's not stopping there, because he turns to face a whole pack of wolves and a giant ice monster, showing just how much he loves grinding. But why does he keep jumping into such crazy trouble? Well, there's just one simple reason. He's chasing the same heart-pounding rush of a past life where his life was on the line. Right now, as the system beeps to announce his new rank. However, the system hiccuped and handed over the bad news. The level up didn't happen, so you'd better love a good surprise. But it's not a total loss, because he walks away with a cool new skill from the Holy Swordsman class. Bei grins, realizing that even without a full class change, he's unlocked an ultimate skill way too fast and is basically tricking the game to his advantage. His sword starts to hum with a blazing light, and he shouts that it's time to wipe you all clean. As the last huge beast lets out a final roar and charges at him, Bei stands ready with his newfound strength to face it. He gets ready to use his brand new move, strikes once, and a huge wave of golden energy blasts out, wiping out all the monsters around him. And in that moment, the battlefield falls quiet as a tidal wave of system alerts crashes over his screen. He's leveled up, bagged a ton of loot, and his new skill has completely restored his stamina, which is exactly what I call a power-up. And with that, he earned the title of Icefield Wanderers and unlocked his brand new ultimate move. With the little ones finished, he turns his sights back on the big danger and declares, "Next, I'll go back and deal with you." The final kill notification pops up, and with a cheerful ding, he officially hits level 9. As soon as he takes on his new title and gains the power to resist the cold, the biting freeze feels like a gentle breeze to him. His ultimate move is so broken that it saves every hit he takes and dumps it all into one huge explosion that fully heals him. Knowing he's been away too long, he rushes to wrap this up because even a hero needs to check on his mom. He finally arrives at his goal, a lone old house standing alone in the middle of this frozen wasteland. Inside, the hallway is lined with huge skulls of defeated monsters, while the cave lord sits calmly at the very end. The monkey-like demon king lifts his head, his lone red eye burning with cold, calculating smartness just as the whole room shakes from Bai's massive arrival. Bai breaks free, having just reached level 10, the highest peak for an E-rank warrior, and stares down his real enemy while saying, "We meet again." While back home at 11 p.m., his mom starts to panic about where her son could possibly be. She's been walking back and forth for hours, and the dinner she made has turned icy, and you can practically feel her worry hanging in the air. But Bai can't go home just yet because the final boss, the cave lord, is glaring at him from his throne. Just then, boom! An ice explosion shakes the cave and one of the big ape minions crashes down with a heavy thud. Wait, do you recall the Thunder Bear we thought was crushed beneath the rocks? It looks like he's starting to move again. Then it lets out a huge roar and heaves itself up, bringing its angry tribe of ape friends right along with it. Just kidding, but by the time Bai could even stand up, he'd already turned it into a furry rug and was standing on its corpse with a smug little smirk. The whole battlefield looks like a frozen graveyard filled with monsters, proving our boy spent all his time grinding up experience points. The cave lord sits on his frozen throne, watching the whole show with zero interest, acting just like a final boss. With a bored flick of his finger, he sends one of his blue forest demons to fight so he doesn't even have to touch it himself. A huge monster runs straight at him with the intent to tear our boy apart. Take a look at Bai's eyes, because that intense glow means he's about to do something absolutely ridiculous. And then, with one clean swipe, the ape was split in half. Sage Ching. Another 70 experience points popped up. The cave lord stares in shock, wondering if this human is somehow using cheat codes. Alright, playtime is done. The boss leaves his throne, and his staff is buzzing with blue power. He smashes it down to unleash an ice storm, but the whole area just gets blasted with freezing wind that does nothing while a huge immune pop-up appears, making the boss look really embarrassed. It turns out his cloud shield completely stopped that attack from working. Bai just walks right through it and heads straight for the shocked cave lord. The boss panics and hurls a giant ice crystal right at him. But Bai has found a new toy and he turns on the instant flash. It's like zipping away to dodge an attack, and now that's the key to unlocking Dank. He disappears in a flash and suddenly pops up right behind the boss, landing a perfect critical hit with a loud BM. The cave lord screams in pain, stumbles backward, and has a huge cut across his chest. You can almost see the moment it hits him. He finally realizes that playing with such a small human was a terrible idea. Bai stands there with blood on his face, drops an icy goodbye, and then slashes so fast the boss turns into a smoothie, ending the fight. The system alerts are flying everywhere. The kill is confirmed. You've gained 1,000 experience points and been promoted to D-class nuclear fighter, so let's get going. That's a huge power-up. Your stats jump by 100%. You get 12 new attribute points to spend, and just when you think it's over, another alert pops up. He has gathered enough power from the sky to master a brand new skill. My man was so locked into his grind he totally forgot he had that special 5-element gift, which is pretty classic for a Bai. His body bursts into light and suddenly he's a level 1 E-grade cloud mage who can switch classes anytime, making this broken red tier profession nearly as powerful as his new D-rank warrior with insane stats thanks to a massive bonus. Now for the best part, the loot. He spots a worn-out magic bag, a classic upgrade that can hold up to 20 things. As he grabs all the loot, the confused ape minions stand frozen with question marks above their heads, wondering why their boss suddenly vanished. Bai pulls that wicked grin on his face, and since you're just standing around, it looks like there are still some experience points left to farm. He shifts into his new cloud mage form, ready to see how the monkeys react to his latest upgrade. The clock clicked over to 5 a.m., and his tired mom had finally drifted off on the couch after staying up all night just to wait for him. The soft click of the front door finally opening jolts her awake. She springs to her feet, her face a wild mix of shock, worry, and relief. Bai stands in the doorway with a bag and quickly apologizes for making her wait. Without missing a beat, he rushes over and pulls her into a big, warm hug. She collapses onto his shoulder, weeping because she's heartbroken that he stayed up all night without even eating. But Bai steps back with a warm, reassuring smile and says, "Mom, I have an idea. Do you want to hear it?" He says, "Let's run away from this spot and never look back at him again." "How will they afford this big getaway?" he asks, holding up a bag glowing with monster cores he's been grinding for, which acts like his very own crypto wallet. So, Bai tracks down the most suspicious merchant he can find to sell his loot, a man who looks like a total crook. The merchant tries to sell the diamond for a cheap 800, but Bai stays cool and boldly asks for 8,000 instead. The merchant goes crazy and screams that the price is ridiculous, but Bai just threatens to walk away, making a move that shows he's totally in control. This negotiation is hilarious as the merchant yells 2,000, but Bai raises it to 5, then 6, then 7, leaving the dude's brain short-circuiting while Bai walks away with a fat sack of cash and the fuming merchant gets wrecked. He holds onto that money, convinced it's everything he needs to finally give his mom the life she deserves. He remembers that in his last life, she never had a single good day, but this time he's going to make sure she lives in luxury. And just like that, the deal is sealed. They walk away with a brand new home, a sweet monthly payment of 15,000, and the fees all wiped away. Later that night, Bai just watched his mom humming a tune while she cooked. For the first time, her face really lit up with a genuine smile, and it felt so wholesome. Our boy pauses to glance at his stats, making sure his housing is set. He has leveled up to D rank, and he's double-checked his brand new profession. But he can't let himself relax because as long as his dad is locked up, The danger is still waiting just outside. Before he can hunt down his revenge, he has to return to school, though he does craft a new D-rank demon stone to get a little extra power. Now that he has this new power, he can finally set out to find that thing, and a mysterious drumroll begins. At the same time, the camera shifts to a face we know well. Han is back and working his tail off, flanked by his usual circle of yes men. A girl tries to get him to take a break with a drink, but he's not interested in resting at all. He just zooms right past her, shouting that he's off to the next demon lair to train some more, and honestly, he doesn't have a single care in the world. Poof! A red glow wraps around him as he hits level 3 Galaxy Assassin, and he smirks, promising to show everyone who the true genius is. While somewhere else, a mysterious woman watches over the city and checks her list of those who have just woken up. She's really let down because there aren't any golden tier heroes, so the big test ahead looks like it's going to be a total snooze. By morning, we were back to being our usual pair. A mountain of breakfast food is spread out on the table in their brand new home. Bai's mom sits there with her eyes closed, smiling in perfect peace, and it's just adorable. Suddenly, Bai bolts into the room, cramming food into his mouth and panicking because he's about to be late for school, shouting, "Why didn't you wake me up?" She whispers that you slept so soundly she didn't want to wake you, then ruffles his hair and declares him the mom of the year. And he smiles, remembering how long it's been since he slept that soundly or shared a real breakfast with her. Suddenly, his mom grabs his collar to startle him, and when he asks what's happening, she just smiles and asks what gift he wants. Bai is totally thrown off by this sudden flip in direction. She points to the calendar and tells him that next Friday is his birthday. Bai froze in shock on June 5th, the day of his birthday, because he'd forgotten it entirely, something no one ever did again after his mom passed away in his past life. He wipes crumbs from his mouth and wonders what he might want next. He glances at his mom, smiles with pure joy, and knows deep down that he has already won. That quiet peace quickly turns into a cold, hard resolve. Now it's time for his next big score. His eyes burst into a glowing red light as his only thought becomes, he must kill him. And for a split second, we catch a glimpse of that masked traitor from his past, the very one who ruined everything. Back at Awakener School, a coach is shouting at the students as the weekend ends, and it's time to face the hellish simulated battle ahead. He tells them their school is tied to the Big Shot Divine Guild, watched by everyone, and this whole event is going live, so there's no pressure, kids. But hold on, because the top student is invited to travel with the high schoolers on a special path to grow stronger. The whole crowd gasped in awe, knowing this legendary journey was their only chance to finally get noticed by the guild. Bai's eyes narrow as he spots Xinghua, the headquarters of the Gods Guild. That's where he found his master and that traitorous scumbag. So his path is clear. He must crush this test to unlock the fastest route to his goal. While other students panic at the thought of fighting in a demon's den, the coach officially starts training on Friday with a first stop in the gravity room. Everyone has to run back and forth 10 times, but one kid always yells he'll do 20, so just settle down, champ. As the others file in, Bai lingers behind and steps right up to the coach to demand, "Teacher, I refuse to use this training room," turning what should be a quiet entry into a dramatic scene right in front of everyone. And just like that, the whole class stops dead in its tracks, turning around with wide eyes as Chi-In, the class monitor, stares in total shock at this sudden change of power. The teacher sneered and bragged about Bai's recent win, warning him not to get too big for his boots after beating such a rare talent. But Bai, the master of smooth talk, claims he's not trying to skip at all, just looking for some fancy special training. Oh, the instructor's face turns dark as he realizes you've triggered his trap card. Bai lays out his argument like a pro, saying that shuttle runs are perfect for warriors or assassins who need to move fast. He kept lecturing, pointing out that enchanters would be better suited in the element room and questioning why everyone trains the same way when not everyone has the same stats. The teacher is really angry now and is asking if you're trying to tell him how to do his job, with a scary feeling filling the room. Chi-In watches from the sidelines with her jaw dropped, realizing that Bai is actually reciting a cutting-edge training theory from a top Divine Corps officer. Another student, a nervous kid in overalls and glasses, whispers for Bai to calm down since he's insulting the school's most respected trainer. The trainer smacked a hard hand down on Bai's shoulder, and the trembling boy flinched, sure that the hero was about to get squished flat like a pancake. But instead of anger, the instructor's face breaks into a huge grin, admitting the idea sounds pretty cool. The boy with glasses finally lets out a huge sigh of relief, and the trainer admits that he was the one being thoughtless all along, proving what a great guy the boy is. He talks about the huge weight on his shoulders, knowing that one wrong call in their final exam could ruin a student's entire future. Bai pauses to think and realizes that the kind teachers from his past life were the only reason he didn't turn into a total menace to society. He looks at the teacher with the kind of bold confidence only a hero can have, promising that he won't let her down in his big performance. The instructor folds his arms with curiosity and asks for the plan. So Bai points to another room and asks if the elemental suppression can be turned up to its highest setting. The whole class goes wild when a warrior tries to use the mage's room on the hardest setting, and everyone wonders if he's crazy. He can't just admit he's a secret mage, so he puts on a huge act by declaring himself a warrior ready to face his fears, though everyone knows it's a total lie. Suddenly feeling brave, Chi-in raises her hand to join in, leaving the exhausted teacher to just wave them off with a sigh, as long as they don't make him look bad. Chi-in asks them to train together, but Bai coldly tells her to go away as he enters his private room. She stands frozen in shock, staring at him as he gives a blunt, heart-stopping yes to her plea to stay. As the two go off to their own rooms, the kid wearing glasses stays behind to watch. He almost tries to cut class, but the instructor stops him right there with a hard no. Inside the element room, Bai, a warrior who knows nothing about magic, finally begins his hard training to earn experience points. He knows he must hide his special secret power, for in this school watched by the gods, showing his trump card too soon means he's done for. Meanwhile, in her room, Chi-in trains hard with only 1% of her power held back, promising to catch up, while Bai wisely decides to stay out of her way. Just as Bai hops on his bike to head home after school, two voices call out his name. It's the welcoming committee. It's his two best friends from a past life, fellow outcasts who always got bullied together after class. A flashback reveals them laughing at their terrible grades, which was the only happy memory he had from those days, though the thought brings a kind of sadness now. But this is his revenge tour life, and he thinks all that pointless socializing will just slow him down, so he's feeling pretty edgy about it. His friends stood there, baffled. As the boy with glasses noticed how Bai had suddenly grown so strong and sure of himself, the kid with glasses slumps into a gloomy mood, muttering that a bike rider wouldn't wait for a walker, but his friend just laughs and says, "It's not that deep." Just then, he looks up to see Bai has stopped and is waiting down the road, so he calls out, "Hey, Specs." Then he drops some serious, random advice. You really need to get your lungs checked while you still have time. The other friend is thrilled, convinced Bai was waiting for them, but our boy just gives a deadpan stare. You can't keep up with me, so I ride off again. Absolutely savage. While the hoodie-wearing friend screams about shuttle runs, Specs just calmly mentions he only did 6 sets, showing their usual team chemistry. As Bai rides away with a small smile, he recalls that in his past life, SPX had a fatal lung disease and he was trying to save his friend. While his friend calls him a cold jerk, Specs just smiles, seeing that Bai is still the same guy deep down. As the scene shifts to Shenhe Nation's training grounds, a place so luxurious it looks like a 5-star beach resort. Mr. Dongyong, the cool guy with dreadlocks, chats with a recruit who is breaking records, and later that night, Bai has a quiet dinner with his mom, promising to do all the shopping himself and stay safe. Mom looks happy, but Bai is already throwing his dramatic hero tantrum because he thinks this isn't enough. He's determined to find them a safer home, and now the real adventure begins. Meanwhile, inside the spooky awakened prison, it's dinner time for the inmates. And there he is, Bai's dad Bai Ling, looking a little rough around the edges as he reaches for his prison meal. But wait, he quietly slides some cash to the guard, while dad just smirks and says, "I'll leave that to you," before someone comments on a bad smell, only for the guard to return a sinister smile and whisper, "It's all set, he's getting out tomorrow." The next morning, Bai returns to grind out his new mage skills. He's struggling to master the boring details like casting time and power levels, but the other student is going wild, screaming about doing 10 rounds while everyone else tells him to calm down. By Wednesday, Bai's friends pull him out of school to have some fun. They invite him to grab dinner, but our boy refuses and insists on heading home. His friends call him out for being cold, but right as he turns to leave, he stops in mid-step. He turns to his archer friend, sharing some pro gamer tips like, "You're taking too long to activate your skill, so work on your opening moves," just to show he really cares. As soon as the archer catches fire with pure drive, his friend Specs just smiles, knowing deep down that Bai is just a soft heart. By the next morning, everything had changed in a very serious way. While Specs lies in the hospital bed, the doctor gives him a relieved sigh and says it's a good thing he showed up. Turns out he has a parasitic tumor in his lungs that grows so fast it's terrifying. The doctor says he needs surgery right away, so a panicked Specs agrees to schedule it for next week, only then remembering Bai's strange warning from a few days ago that they had completely forgotten about. He wonders how on earth anyone could have known, and all of a sudden, his friend Bai feels incredibly mysterious. As he gets lost in his own thoughts, he strolls right past a group of students whispering about our favorite bully, Hong Qianshin. It looks like Hong has been secretly training hard and is already so strong that he is all but certain to win first place. His secret weapon is that his family owns a private maze where they train their own army. making him the ultimate pay-to-win player. But then the rumors turn nasty, claiming Hong plans to teach a lesson to the guy who annoyed him, and we all know exactly who he is. Specs freezes when he hears the kicker, realizing Hong is armed and planning to kill him off campus, not just fight him. Just like that, SPX completely falls apart, screaming to himself that he should never have annoyed Scum, then bolts down the hallway with his life on the line, shouting that he has to rush to help Bai. His mind races through the possibility that Hong is dirty and has already sprung his ambush with the whole crew. But then he slams on the brakes, and suddenly the heavy doubt creeps back in. What good am I even going to be? A classic side character moment. Just as fast as his doubt faded, his heart grew hard, for he could never forget that Bai had once saved his life. He balls up his hand, ready to do whatever is needed, even if it means dying, because he knows he has to save his brother. He used to dodge trash like it was poison, but now he knows his new bro is worth more than all that junk. With a mighty crack, he rips the padlock clean off the armory door, but where did that strength come from? He flings the heavy doors wide, eyes locked on his single goal, ready to grab some serious treasure. My man's face is set in stone with pure determination, meaning he is officially locked into his zone. And what does he snatch? The largest, scariest battle axe hanging on the rack. He stands tall in the doorway, shouting by hang on, as this is his big moment. But just as he's about to speak, a voice shouts, "Why are you trying to break into the armory?" And he spins around to see the class monitor, Chi-in, standing right there. She stares at the man gripping a massive axe and asks what's wrong, noticing his hurried look, but Specs can't explain and just shouts that he must save Bei before vanishing, leaving Chi totally confused about what is going on at the school. While Bei is counting on someone to rescue her, that same guy is just chilling and biking down an empty alleyway. He halts without turning and shouts, "Come out. You've been tailing me since school. What do you want?" A figure steps from the dark. It is Hong, radiating a red, villainous glow. He sneers, "I'm here to settle the score from last weekend." This guy really holds a grudge, and that's all it takes. While Hong lets out a battle cry, activates his speed skill, and rushes forward like a missile. He tries to hit him with a sneaky teleport trick, but Bai is ready, and his hand glitches out like a video game character as he gets his weapon ready to fight back. Clang Bai makes his blade appear out of nowhere to stop the attack without even getting out of breath. Hong is totally shocked because his attack power is actually stronger than mine, so I can't figure out how that happened. With a glowing gaze and a chillingly sharp remark, Bai reveals that he's been getting stronger all along. In one swift motion, Bai doesn't just block Hong's strike. He smashes the blade and sends him flying, proving he has complete control. Hong's mind went blank with shock, completely unable to process what just happened and acting like he needs a major system update. Before he can even blink, Bai is suddenly on him, choking him out and hurling him hard against the wall. Hong didn't notice it before, but now thanks to his own training, he feels it right away. The man before him is so far ahead that he'll never be able to catch up, no matter how hard he tries. Hong Qinshang gets it at last, pinned hard against the wall, realizing that all his grinding and training still leaves him facing a canyon-wide gap. He can't even handle it, sputtering in shock that you leveled up 2 and asking how that's possible, while Hong screams in disbelief that after working so hard to reach level 4, you just passed him that easily. Bai just snorts at him. With a chill in his voice, he leans forward to ask the one question that has no easy answer. Have you ever died? Even lying beaten on the ground, Hong tries to act tough by spitting and saying, "Cut the crap, just kill me or torture me, do whatever you want." But Bai surprises him by replying, "I don't actually hate you that much. You showed up alone with no tricks, just wanting a fair fight. But I can't stand your pity, and if you don't finish it, I'll give you round 2, which finally snapped my patience and made me hate you even more." Just as Q, Specs, and Zion burst in with a massive axe, the fight is already finished, leaving them with nothing but bad luck. "Actually, I've been waiting for you," Bai suddenly says as he turns to Hong and offers a deal that promises to make him much stronger than he could ever be on his own. But as we all know, getting a boost like that always comes with a cost. Alright, let's fast forward to May 29th, Assessment Day, where a week of training culminates in a combat simulation as the students gather to face their test. The teacher clicks on the mic to warn the group that despite calling it a simulation, the maze they're about to enter is 100% real and extremely dangerous. To keep the newcomers safe from the monsters, some graduating seniors will act as guides, but they're really just there to help if things go wrong. The plan is easy. Students are split into small teams of 4 or 5, and each group gets a senior babysitter to guide them into the dungeon. They face 2 paths: the easy F-class maze for regular students or the deadly E-class trap where failing costs you your school credits. The teacher asks everyone to raise their hand if they are brave or foolish enough to enter the E-class labyrinth. No one was shocked when Chien raised her hand, and right behind her, A very determined Hong Kim Shong did the same. While the teacher gathers 8 brave volunteers who wow the other students, Zion spots something strange because Bai doesn't even flinch. Right as the teacher was about to send everyone else to the easy F class, Bai stepped forward and said, "Wait a moment, teacher." With the whole auditorium watching him, he makes the wildest offer yet. He's daring the school to let him challenge their D-class Spirit Jade Labyrinth. We've wrapped up this recap, so hit that subscribe button to keep our awesome content coming and see you in the next one.